For someone with narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD for short, understanding and sharing in another person's emotional experience is not something that comes easy or naturally. The narcissist in many ways is like a small child, highly self-centered, emotionally underdeveloped, and very focused on their own needs and emotions. There are several studies showing that there are structural and functional differences in the brain of highly narcissistic people, which accounts for this inability to step out of their own perspective and feel genuine empathy for others. I'm Lise Leblanc, and in today's video, I'm talking about the difference between cognitive and emotional empathy. I will explain 3 main reasons why narcissists fake empathy, as well as 7 ways that they try to fool you into believing that they are a genuinely empathetic person. And at the end of this video, I will give you my best tip on how to tell the difference between true empathy and fake empathy. It's important to note that the severity of the narcissist's empathy deficits can vary, and even those with more pronounced levels of impairment can be very skilled at masking their lack of empathy. Okay, so first, allow me to briefly explain the difference between cognitive and emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy, which is also referred to as intellectual empathy or perspective taking, involves mentally putting yourself in another person's shoes and trying to intellectually understand that person's perspective and feelings. Emotional empathy, also known as affective empathy, goes even further, and it involves sharing in another person's emotional experience and genuinely feeling your own emotions in relation to what they're going through. Narcissists typically struggle with both cognitive and emotional empathy. With intensive therapy, some narcissists can learn to increase their level of cognitive empathy and perspective-taking skills. But because of these structural and functional differences in their nervous system, they are not capable of developing true emotional empathy. Unfortunately, what usually happens is individuals with NPD learn to fake empathy. So what you'll find is that in one moment they seem to be hugely concerned and showing lots of compassion, but in the next moment they're cold, distant, and couldn't care less about what you're going through. So in this latter circumstance, the narcissist is faking empathy. And here are 3 reasons why narcissists typically get really good at faking empathy. The first reason is that it's a tactic to gain trust and keep people in their lives so that they can use them as narcissistic supply. Because think about it, if someone was always cold and heartless and insensitive towards others, then no one would want to be around them. The narcissist would end up spending their entire lives alone and wouldn't have any sources of narcissistic supply. Number 2 is that it allows them to appear normal and to manage other people's perception of them. Narcissists have learned that displaying empathy is a very useful tool in social situations, and that pretending to care about other people's feelings and experiences makes them seem more normal, more likable, allows them to fit in socially, and to also manage their image and reputation. As you know, narcissists are deeply concerned about how they're perceived by others, and they go to great lengths to maintain a positive image and reputation. Faking empathy is a way to project that image of being a caring, compassionate, and understanding person, as well as to avoid criticism and detection. Reason number 3 is to strategically re-engage you. When you leave a narcissist, they can't get over the loss. Not necessarily the loss of you, but the loss of the game. They saw you as their possession, as someone who served a specific function, and you don't get to set the rules of the game. So if you exit, they view this as a loss, and they can get very upset and very obsessed with getting you back in the game, sometimes to the point of hunting you down like prey. If you're a highly empathetic person, someone with huge heartstrings, chances are that the narcissist will use fake empathy to strategically get you back in this game. Now that I've described some of the more common reasons that narcissists fake empathy, here are 7 ways that they will do this. Number 1, they will be very, very attentive towards you. So along with showering you with excessive compliments, gifts, and affection, the narcissist may initially shower you with their attentiveness. For example, they'll maintain eye contact, nod while you're talking, and appear as though they are deeply interested in whatever it is that you're saying. As the relationship goes on, you will find that they are never emotionally present, have 0 attention span when it comes to listening to you, and they show very little empathy for your problems or concerns unless they want something from you. Number 2 is they ask a lot of personal questions. Someone with NPD typically asks a lot of deeply personal questions in the beginning of a relationship. And this is to gather information about you. They are learning you, data mining, finding out your emotional vulnerabilities and triggers. So initially, they want to know everything about you. They're asking you a lot of meaningful questions and acting as though they have tons of compassion and concern for you. But as the relationship goes on, they get disappointed in you because you don't meet their idealized expectations. And at this point, they will start seeing you as a threat, and they will start using whatever sensitive information that you provided to them initially, and they'll be using that against you. Number 3 is validating you. So again, in the beginning, the narcissist will act as though they are 150% on your side, validating your perspectives, your feelings, your interpretations, your experiences, and you will feel as though they really get you more than anyone ever has. But this show of validation and fake empathy will not last. Soon, the narcissist will be invalidating you almost constantly, contradicting almost all of your thoughts, feelings, memories, perceptions, and so on. Number 4 is offering to help you. A narcissist loves to present themselves as a hero, as the miracle solution to whatever problem you're having. For example, if the narcissist is wealthy, they might initially pay for everything, promising you'll never have to worry about money ever again. Or perhaps they will offer to help you in your career, or maybe promise to take care of all of your sexual needs. Whatever problem you have, whatever need hasn't been met, not only do they get it, but they act like they have so much empathy for you and that they will do whatever it takes to make sure that you never have to suffer again. They are the solution to all of your life's problems, and this can be very alluring to someone who is vulnerable or to someone whose needs in some area of their life has not been met in a very long time. Now, all of a sudden, there's someone here not only showing you great empathy for what you've been through, but also promising to end all of your suffering. Seems like a dream come true, doesn't it? And this can be hard to pass up. Number 5 is playing the victim. Some narcissists, especially the covert, vulnerable type, act like victims, sharing stories of their own hardships and emotional suffering very early on to make themselves seem more relatable, more trustworthy, and more empathetic. So you get the sense that since they've been through so much emotional challenges and struggles, that they will have an understanding and empathy for the suffering of others. However, this is a fundamental thinking error when it comes to narcissists. While it may be true that they've been through a lot in their lives, their victim mentality and their tactic of sharing their suffering early on is not a show of empathy, but it's a tool to get your empathy, support, trust, validation, approval, or whatever it is that they're seeking. Number 6 is emotional mirroring. Narcissists mirror and mimic the emotions of those around them, reflecting the feelings and concerns that are expressed by others to create the illusion of empathy, as they seem to be sharing in the emotional experience of everyone else. However, because it's insincere, it might come across as unnatural or awkward. And the closer you get to the narcissist, the more in control they feel of the relationship, the more they see you as their pet or possession, the less they will feel the need to bother, mirroring or mimicking your emotions. And they stop with a lot of the complicated pretending, unless they want something from you or are attempting to look good in public or gaslight you. So for the latter, they might be mirroring your emotions and pretending to understand you, but really they're using this moment to fake connection as an opportunity to twist the narrative and make you doubt or change your perceptions, interpretations, feelings, or memories. Number 7, along the same lines, in social situations or on social media in public, narcissists put on a display of concern in order to appear empathetic in front of an audience so that they can enhance their image of being a highly empathetic person or even a heroic figure, but they're rarely putting any real effort into offering ongoing support unless it serves them in major ways. In fact, they often use third parties to convey their empathy by sending someone else to comfort or provide support on their behalf, maintaining their facade of empathy while avoiding direct involvement or any real effort. So the level of empathy that you witness in public will be drastically different than what you experience in private. And now, as promised, my number 1 tip to tell the difference between real and fake empathy. It's really simple and it can be described in one word, and that is consistency. Genuine empathy is consistent over time, and it doesn't depend on who you are, who you're with, and it's not used to manipulate. Someone who consistently shows genuine understanding, support, and empathy, even when it's inconvenient, are likely displaying real and genuine empathy. There is a caveat to this, because there might be times when you lose empathy for someone. For example, if someone is always playing the victim, and despite your efforts to help them, they are rejecting all solutions and never really making any effort to help themselves. In this case, you might start to feel less empathetic as you realize that they're using you and they don't want to change. However, even in this case, your empathy isn't going to depend on what you need or who you're trying to impress. A narcissist, on the other hand, uses empathy selectively and strategically, turning it on and off like a faucet depending on their personal agenda. And once their needs have been served, their so-called empathy vanishes into thin air until the next time they need something. It can be very difficult and disheartening to admit that you've been duped by someone's fake displays of empathy. But it's a lot more painful to keep up the delusion, as this creates a ton of cognitive dissonance, which can be very difficult to resolve. As the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So once you see the patterns, trust the evidence and don't allow yourself to continue to be fooled by the narcissist's fake empathy. I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to learn more about narcissistic personality disorders and their destructive tactics, please click on the link above.